Excel parts for version 2019. We have 5 parts. Let's go step by step. First, it is Power Query. It's responsible for extracting, transforming, loading data. Power Pivot helps us to add some intelligence. Pivot tables, pivot charts, 3, 4 appropriately, helps us for data visualization, preparing reports. And number 5, Excel workbook worksheet helps us to set up, to do page setup or printing area setup. Depends on our tasks. Excuse me. What I would like to mention that all five blocks are very individual, and they can do tasks independently. For example, Power Query, we can extract, transform, and load data, and also send data to Excel workbook. From Excel workbook, we can send data to Power Pivot. I found that most effective way to build reliability program is to follow these steps, to follow the orders. First, Power Query extracts data, transform it, and load data. Next, Power Pivot, we add some intelligence. So these steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is most effective steps to do or to develop reliability program. Now let's go block by block. And first is Power Query. So we have different data sources. What Power Query can do, how Power Query can help us get data or extract data, transform it, and load data in Excel or data model. Put here quick description for Power Query: get data, combine data, data cleaning, filtering, formatting, built-in and custom queries, calculations, formulas, functions, etc. Our query can help us to automate all these 3 steps. Quick question: how we can get in Power Query? Answer is very simple. From Data tab, Excel file, we have here Get Data icon. We click on this icon, we will see list of the sources. In this example, I'm using from Excel workbook. In your case, it can be text, CSV, XML, PDF, or whatever your source is. This is how Power Query looks like. I just extract data from workbook. As you can see, we have here names from left side. Table 1, I didn't change it. Right side, table 1, I also didn't change it. I can change here, called, let's say, aircraft utilization. Also, we can change, let's say, format. As you can see, for example, flight hours, it says ABC. ABC means text format, but flight hours have number format. Okay? Most functions or most transformations we can do using Excel built-in functions. So here's the tabs: Home, Transform, Add Columns, View. In case if there is no Power Query built-in functions or formulas, it can be programmed using a function can be programmed using DAX language. DAX stands for Data Analysis Expressions. What I would like to say about this language is easier than Visual Basic for applications, easier than VBA. One small thing I would like to mention also, on the right side under table name, as I said, I didn't change it. It's just called table 1, right? We have applied steps. All steps, suppose we change table 1 to aircraft utilization. It's going to be recorded here. Suppose I change flight hour formatting from text to numbers. It's going to be recorded here. We're going to have 10, 15 steps. And just in case, if we don't like, let's say, how we formatted it, we can click on the appropriate record, and then we can apply or change formatting as per task. It's very convenient and very user-friendly. Next, Power Pivot. Suppose we process Power Query, so we already processed data in Power Query. Now we need to add some intelligence. We have to load data in data model in Power Pivot and add some calculations, measures, formulas, KPIs, build the table relations. Third, load data in Excel, pivot table, pivot charts. I also put here quick description how Power Pivot can help us. Data modeling, table relations, measures, formulas, KPIs, data sorting, built-in and custom queries, etc., etc. Power Pivot also can help us to automate all these steps. Question: how we can get from Power Query to Power Pivot? Answer is very simple. We have Home tab. We have under Home tab Close and Load icon. We click on this icon, Close and Load icon. We have two options. Number 1, Close and Load. Number 2, Close and Load to. This example I'm using Close and Load to. We will see Import Data window. And by all means, we have to check this checkbox, add this data to the model. Click OK. Next question, how we can get from Excel in Power Pivot? First, we have Power Pivot tab. Under Power Pivot tab, we have Manage icon, Manage Data Model icon. As you can see, it says here, go to the Power Pivot window. We click on this icon, and here is Power Pivot window. We have three parts. Main part is table itself with data, table with data. Right side we have calculated columns. We can put formulas, measures. Just for example, we need to calculate flight hours per flight cycles. We can write here. Here's the formula bar. Or suppose we need to calculate average flight hours. Then we have calculated fields. We can do this calculation here, putting average flight hours. Next, pivot table. Again, suppose we process Power Pivot. Now we need to prepare this data for reports. So we have pivot tables. Pivot tables, number 1, to load in data categories, then apply calculations, measures, formulas, KPIs, load data in Excel or pivot charts. How we can get, again, next question, how we can get from Power Pivot to pivot table? Answer is very simple. We have Home tab. Under Home tab, we have pivot table icon. click on it, we will see a list of the pivot options, pivot tables, pivot charts. In this example, we are using pivot table option. Gives us create pivot table window, two options. Option 1, new worksheet. Option 2, existing worksheet. For this example, I'm using new worksheet. I'm selecting new worksheet. Click OK, and right side of the Excel, we will see pivot table fields. Left window is all about tables. As you remember, we have table 1 in our Power Query. As I said, I didn't change the name. So in this table, we can see actually the list of the tables. Okay, but we have one table. That's why we see here one table called table 1. So these tables are with categories or columns or field, whatever you like, you can call it. And so columns are the followings: date, aircraft manufacturer serial number, flight number, departure arrival stations, flight hours, flight cycles. On the right window, we have option fields. For example, I need to filter my data based on January 2022, based on date. Then I can drag in filter fields. Or I need to create the columns. Then I can set date, MSN, or whatever field in the columns. All rows, date, MSN, flight hours, or values. So we have 4 fields. In this case, for this example, I would like to see flight hours per manufacturer serial number, aircraft manufacturer serial number, per date. So I selected all 3 items, all 3 fields, and here is in the rows field, date, MSN, flight number. As a result, we have pivot table with date, MSN, flight hours. Definitely, I changed a little bit design, but I think idea is clear. Now, what I would like to also mention, queries and connections. We have this interesting window here, right? As you can see, we have also here table 1, which is from Power Query. By the way, it says here 20,000 rows loaded. Suppose we don't like flight hours, how it's formatted. As you can see, we have, 8 or 9 decimal digits after a point. So what we can do, we can click on table 1, because it is under table 1 Power Query, right? Let me show you actually, to remind you. Click table 1. Go to the applied steps. We applied steps, say, suppose we have second step, change the format from ABC, from text to number. Click on it and go to the transform. And instead of 8 or 9 digits, we tell system we need only 2 decimal digits. Come back, click refresh, and we will have flight hours with 2 decimal digits. Very user-friendly. Next, we have pivot charts.